Welcome to the deep dive. Our mission today is pretty clear. We're taking a whole stack of systematic reviews and clinical trials,
The best data out there.
the absolute best, and we're diving into the scientific conclusions about the physiological changes women experience at menopause. But more importantly, we're looking for the levers, the evidence-based levers you can pull right now to manage symptoms.
Yeah, and I think we need to start by just confronting a belief that has really dominated this whole conversation for decades.
Which is?
The myth of the metabolic crash. Most people, and especially women heading into their 50s, are convinced that the weight gain, the fatigue, it's all because their metabolism just dramatically slows down.
Okay, let's unpack this, because this is almost universal. I mean, anyone I talk to past 45 swears their metabolism just fell off a cliff.
I know.
But you're saying the science, based on total daily energy expenditure, or TE, it challenges this.
It absolutely does. And this isn't just any measurement. They use the gold standard, the doubly labeled water method.
Which is super accurate, right? It measures what you burn in real life, not just in a lab.
Exactly, over weeks. And when researchers looked at the results across the human lifespan, I mean, from 8 days old all the way to 95 years,
Wow.
they found what they call the great metabolic stability.
So what does that stability actually look like in those critical midlife years?
Well, when you adjust for body mass, your total energy expenditure, it stays remarkably stable
For how long?
through the entire adult period. We're talking from around age 20 right up until age 60.
60.
This is the crucial window. The data even shows the stability holds true during pregnancy. So the common narrative that, your metabolism just crashes in midlife because of age.
It's just not supported by the evidence.
Not at all. The real age-related decline in how much energy you burn, that doesn't really kick in until you pass that 6-decade mark.
Hold on. If T, the total energy you burn, is stable until 60, then why does it feel like every woman I know says she gained 10 pounds just by turning 45?
Right.
What's the practical difference between a stable T and the weight gain we actually see?
That is the critical nuance. The stability is in the adjusted rate of burn, not necessarily the total calories you need. The weight gain, it often comes from two things.
Okay.
First, a slight, maybe unacknowledged drop in daily activity, just moving a little less. And second, the profound hormonal shifts, which change where your body stores fat.
Ah, so it's a redistribution.
Exactly. The struggle is real, but we need to stop blaming a general metabolic shutdown and start focusing on the hormones.
Okay, so let's shift focus. If it's not the metabolism slowing down, what is specifically changing hormonally during that menopausal transition that causes so much distress?
The primary mechanism is the fluctuation and then the significant decline in estrogen.
And estrogen is more than just a reproductive hormone.
So much more. It's a neuromodulator. Its decline directly messes with the balance and function of key neurotransmitters in the brain.
So we're talking deeper than just hot flashes.
Oh, much deeper. We're talking specifically about serotonin and dopamine. Estrogen decline impacts their signaling, which leads directly to disruptions in mood regulation, sleep cycles, even cognitive function.
And then the outside world crashes in.
Precisely. The sources are clear that this internal biological shift is colliding with major psychosocial factors.
You mean like the sandwich generation stresses?
That's the perfect storm.
Caring for aging parents, maybe dealing with teenagers, career pressure.
Exactly. The internal chemistry is fluctuating wildly at the exact same time external pressures often peak. This combination. It's why the risk of developing depressive symptoms or even major depression goes up by 2 to 4 times during this transition. It's a very vulnerable period.
And you also mentioned it affects things long term. You brought up insulin-like growth factor 1, or IGF-1.
Yes, IGF-1. It's a crucial hormone for cell growth and maintenance. The drop in estrogen seems to negatively affect its signaling and function.
Which has downstream effects.
Big ones. IGF-1 influences metabolism, bone density, muscle mass. So this drop links the menopausal transition directly to things like sarcopenia and osteoporosis later in life. It's a foundational health marker.
So that makes our mission here really clear. If we know it's about this localized hormonal and neurotransmitter chaos, then science has to offer some precise tools to counter it.
Right, non-pharmacological tools.
Let's zero in on physical activity. We've got systematic reviews that basically give us a hierarchy of what works best for mood, for sleep, and for that IGF-1 marker.
And the evidence here is so powerful, it lets us stop guessing and start, prescribing based on what's actually effective. For depressive symptoms, researchers analyzed 23 randomized controlled trials.
Okay, so a lot of data.
A ton. And they use this measure called SCRA scores to rank the efficacy of different exercise types.
Let's pause on the jargon there. What does a SCRA score mean for someone listening?
Think of it like a probability ranking. The higher the score, the more likely that specific exercise is to be the most effective choice out of all the options they studied. It gives us a really clear hierarchy.
A league table for exercise. So what came out on top for mood?
Aerobic exercise. It showed superior efficacy with a score of 78.7%.
So was it even close?
Not really. It consistently outperformed the others. Now, multi-mode motion, which is basically aerobic plus stretching,
Yeah.
was close behind at 78.1%, and even just stretching alone showed a significant improvement.
So the straightforward guidance is if mood is your top priority, get your heart rate up.
Absolutely. The practical takeaway is that aerobic exercise should be your first-line approach. And this doesn't mean you have to start marathon training.
Right.
We're talking about moderate stuff. Brisk walking, cycling, 30 to 60 minutes, maybe 3 to 5 times a week. It's accessible and it is highly effective.
What about things like yoga or Tai Chi? People often turn to those for stress.
And they are definitely beneficial for overall stress and flexibility, no question. But when you measure the short-term clinical effect, specifically on depressive symptoms in this group,
They weren't as potent.
they showed a less pronounced effect. Their SUCRA score was 45.4%. So they're excellent support systems. But for depression, aerobic movement is the primary countermeasure.
That's super clear for mood. But often the thing that feels most urgent is sleep or, the lack of it.
The debilitating sleep disruption.
Exactly. And the research here gets even more precise. It moves past just what works to the specific dosage you need.
That's right. For sleep disorders, they did a meta-analysis on 19 trials to really nail down the optimal training variables. They were looking for the biggest effect size for low and moderate intensity interventions.
This is literally a prescription.
Yeah.
So give us the recipe. What's the sweet spot for frequency, duration, all of it?
Okay, to get the biggest impact on sleep disorders, the data pointed to 3 things. First, frequency, 3 times per week. That had the most significant effect.
3 times a week. Got it.
Second, duration, 70 to 90 minutes per session. This was a really substantial finding. It suggests those longer bouts are key.
70 to 90 minutes.
Wow. And third, the intervention period. You have to stick with it. 8 to 10 weeks showed the largest measured effect size.
Okay, 70 to 90 minutes, 3 times a week for at least 2 months. That is a huge commitment for someone who's already exhausted.
It is.
So does that mean if you can only manage, say, 40 minutes, you get no benefit?
No, that's a crucial question. You will absolutely get a benefit from 40 minutes, of course. But the data shows that if you want the maximum measured improvement, the kind of change that can shift you from a disorder towards normal sleep.
You have to treat it like a serious training block.
You do. The duration seems to be a key ingredient for that deep restorative sleep in this specific population.
So was the most effective form of exercise for sleep also aerobic, like it was for mood?
And this is where it gets really fascinating. We see a split in the evidence. While aerobic exercise is king for mood,
For sleep, it's something else.
for sleep, the most effective form was found to be static exercise.
Static exercise, you mean like holding stretches, that kind of thing?
Exactly. Things like yoga, controlled muscle stretching, Tai Chi. The statistical evidence showed this form had a superior effect size for improving sleep.
And what's the mechanism there?
It's likely about reducing muscle tension and the focus on regulating your breathing, which really calms the central nervous system.
So if your main battle is with insomnia, that 70 to 90 minute dose of static work might be a more direct path than jogging.
Precisely. And there's one last little nuance on this.
Yeah.
For sleep, the very best results were seen when people exercised alone.
Really?
But, and this is a huge but, the researchers added a critical caveat. While exercising alone might get slightly better results in a lab,
In the real world?
in the real world, group exercise significantly improves adherence. And for a challenging time like this, that social support is often the biggest factor in actually sticking with it. Consistency is everything.
Okay, let's move to that third critical piece, long-term health. We said IGF-1 is a key marker. What does the research say about using exercise to optimize it?
Well, the IGF-1 system is complex. It's that double-edged sword we talked about. Low levels are bad, but chronically high levels can also be a risk. The goal isn't to max it out, it's to optimize it.
Keep it in that healthy range.
Exactly. And the meta-analysis found that overall, physical activity helps. It significantly increases IGF-1 and decreases its binding protein, which is a good trend for metabolic health.
But does the type of exercise matter for moving that specific hormone?
Oh, it matters massively. When they compared exercise types head-to-head on the IGF-1 marker, the results were definitive.
Yeah.
Resistance training, weightlifting, strength training. It had a profoundly higher effect on increasing IGF-1 concentration.
How much higher?
The measured difference was staggering. Resistance training was nearly 7 times more effective at positively impacting this growth factor than aerobic training was.
7 times. That's an inescapable conclusion.
It is. If your goal is to protect your muscle mass, your bone density, and your overall metabolic health post-menopause, resistance training is the most powerful tool you have.
And was this benefit seen across the board for everyone?
Interestingly, no. The positive effect on IGF-1 was particularly noticeable in women with a BMI over 25.
So for women who are overweight or obese,
Yes. It suggests a really essential benefit for them. For that group, strength training isn't just an option, it's a non-negotiable tool for optimizing their health.
this has been a true deep dive into precision medicine through movement. Let's synthesize the core findings for you.
Yeah, let's pull it together.
First, we busted the great metabolic myth. Your daily energy needs are stable until age 60. The challenge is hormonal, changing where you store fat and how your brain manages mood.
Second, we have a targeted exercise prescription for depressive symptoms. Aerobic exercise, like a brisk walk, is superior. For sleep disorders, it's a different focus. That precise dose, 3 times a week, 70 to 90 minutes, for 8 to 10 weeks, focusing on static exercise like yoga.
And finally, for long-term structural and metabolic health, for optimizing that crucial IGF-1 marker, resistance training is scientifically superior, especially if you're carrying extra weight.
And if we connect all this back to the bigger picture of aging and longevity, these routines are doing so much more than just managing symptoms. They are slowing aging at a cellular level.
How so?
The underlying science of aging points to mitochondrial dysfunction problems with the energy factories in your cells as a key part of senescence, the process that drives aging.
So by doing these specific movements, you're literally reaching into the cell and changing how you age.
Exactly. Things like physical activity that postpone senescence are effective largely because they improve mitochondrial function. So by adopting these specific targeted routines, you aren't just treating hot flashes, you're forcing your cells to renew, to function more efficiently. You are targeting the cellular hallmarks of aging itself.
That knowledge changes everything. If exercise is proven to regulate your cellular lifespan, and if we know the specific movements for specific symptoms, does that change how you view your next workout? Is it still just exercise, or is it mandatory evidence-based medicine? Something to think about as you build your own precision plan.